Hello and welcome. My name's Leanne Peard. I'm the host of the podcast and a social media specialist. And today it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Stephanie Smart. Stephanie is a truth speaker coach, an author, and a speaker. She is experienced in the corporate business world as a trainer, as an intuitive and wellness professional who has been teaching workshops and speaking for over 25 years. Stephanie teaches us how to identify our true purpose, embrace our legacy, and live our true life. She empowers her clients and audiences to be unapologetically themselves in all aspects of their life. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wow. So you're a woman of my own heart here, business trainer, coach. I think we all sort of search for what is our true purpose. So can you share with the audience today, maybe let's go way back. How did you get involved in this space? So obviously, you've been doing it for a long time, but how did it all start?
It started I've been in alternative medicine for many decades, and that was actually the start for me of that inward looking and really reconnecting and remembering who I was, and that came about as a result of a car accident, and I was on disability and I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't making any progress and really struggling. And somebody said, "Oh, you need to go see this person who does this work." And I showed up, and it was life changing for me. And it was the beginning of me realizing that I have a body, I have choices, I get to figure out what that was, and at the same time start to put words to who I wanted to be, and really recognize that those dreams that I had growing up and those visions of that life that I wanted could in fact be a reality, and to just start to own that and start to feel like, oh, I can do this. And I wasn't alone in that process.
Wonderful. So your healing then accelerated once you stepped into that space?
Definitely. The work that I got introduced to is called orthobionomy, and it is foundational to who I am today. And it's part of my spiritual practice, and I'm actually an instructor in that as well. And so I took that and carried that through, and it really is all about remembering who we are, and finding ease and comfort in both our physical body as well as our spiritual being and our energetic being. And so I carried that and did that for a long time, and I went back to school and got a master's in Oriental medicine, and really it all really for me boiled down to that spiritual component, because every time I work with someone, whether it was when I had a brick and mortar wellness center, or now as a coach and doing most of my work online, it's really all about when we can connect to who we are at our core and bringing that out. And when we bring that out into our world, that's when I talk about us being a true speaker, and knowing what those core components of who we are. And then we embody that in everything that we do. And that's when life becomes really fun and joyful and thriving.
So yeah, that's amazing. So I have a question, because it's funny that I've read a lot of books about, and I think once we get older too, we start questioning who are we and why are we here, and I've only got so many years left on this planet. So I've done a lot of work on that myself, but how, and obviously you coach women or people in doing this, but suddenly I feel overwhelmed just hearing about it, because I start questioning, well, are you on your right purpose? So, how do you discover what that is? And is it more than one? I know that's about 20 questions in one there, Stephanie.
So I don't talk about it as the right purpose or our one and only, because we evolve as people. And so what I talk about is our soul song, and really remembering what that is. And I talk about the notes of our soul song, and our soul song is it's our music, right? And I talk about it as our DNA. It's our spiritual DNA. And when we remember what all the notes are in our soul song, that encompasses all of who we are, and that encompasses our purpose, and that is like our passions and our gifts and our dreams and our core values. and we find that is who we are. And so I think when we look at what's our purpose, I I I take a step back from that, because I think my purpose is to be a facilitator and a catalyst and empower people, and I, I have a whole list of that. But I wouldn't necessarily say that my purpose is to say lead a movement or to be a physical, energetic, hands-on worker, or any of those things, because we grow, and as we grow and we learn more about ourselves and more becomes available in the world around us, I think what we want is to be able to have that flexibility, and that those notes of our soul song become like our foundation. And I want to make sure that that's happening in my life all the time. And so when I have that all the time, it doesn't matter how it manifests as my work. What matters is that I feel like I'm being true to myself, I'm thriving, I have joy in my life, and that those things that are so integral to who I am are happening. And I talk about the notes of our soul song as the non-negotiables. And those non-negotiables need to happen regardless of what the rest of the physical world looks like. Does that help in that answering that question?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've gone from feeling a little bit
You've gone from, yes?
I've gone from feeling overwhelmed and questioning. My brain starts questioning, are you on the right track? Is this the right thing? To actually sitting here now going, wow, yeah, it's about how I feel and what we are doing in our life. So yes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, I talk about, when I work with people, I talk about how throughout our lives, we have these opportunities where we stand at a crossroads. And it's like this deep knowing that whatever choice I make here is going to influence the rest of my life. And we have those opportunities and multiple times in our lives. It's the joy of being a person. And I had one of those when I was 18. And so I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. And when I was 18, I attempted suicide a couple of times. And when I came out of the second time, there really is no reason why I'm alive. Except that I am, and I'm grateful for that. And when I sort of woke up, I had this deep understanding, knowing, just infusion of this understanding that life was not meant to be the hardship that I had been experiencing. Life was not meant to be this just grind and bang your head against the wall and feel like you're never getting anywhere. That life as a human being, we are here to experience joy, and that no matter what, we need to have joy in our lives. And so my goal is to figure out how that works, right? What are the things that bring me joy? And how do I make that happen in my life every single day? And it's not, oh, I'm going to go dancing and, singing and all of that. It's what are the minute things for me that are about joy? And it might be that sitting down with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea in front of the fire for 15 minutes and letting my whole body just go, oh, and just being, enjoying and connecting with the moment that's happening and really identifying what those moments are. And so when we bring those moments of joy into our lives, then we can have the ease of knowing, whatever I'm doing for work right now is what I'm doing for work. But when I can take those moments of joy and then go, well, what is it that I do want? And give yourself permission to start asking those questions. That's when the magic happens. And I talk about magic is happening in the world, and we are magical. And that when we can tap into that and really allow ourselves the permission to let our magic flow in the world, that's when the world changes.
Brilliant. Stephanie, can you hear me? I think we've just frozen.
I can.
Yeah, sorry. It just went a little bit frozen.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So that's so true, and it just then, listening to what you were saying, it's the simple things that sometimes is all we need, It's just those moments of joy that just make me feel absolutely alive and, I feel like I'm on the right path.
Mm-hmm. And that's for me, we are in this culture right now where we've been really hearing a lot, especially if you're online, you're hearing a lot about hustle and we, the amount of hours that we work in the US, and just like there's this grind. And I am all about finding the path of ease and finding the path of least resistance because, you said it a minute ago about simplicity. And I think that for me, when we can design our life and create our life that is filled with that ease and that simple, we just give ourselves permission to live our life because this is all we get. And this is the life that we have. And so let's make it be what we want. And that isn't the just banging and grinding and being the hamster on the hamster wheel. Take a step off and figure out what that is. And that's what I do with my clients. And so when I talk about the notes of our soul song, it's like, let's figure out what those are, and then let's figure out how to get them into your life, because your whole entire being needs to be dancing and singing.
Yeah, beautiful analogy. So, Stephanie, you've really given us an overview of what you do and how we can also step into our purpose, if we need to call it that, but basically to sing our soul song. Can I just ask now from a business perspective? So I know that this podcast goes out to a lot of women that, and people that want to get started in business, aren't sure how to get started in business. And then we've got so many struggles as business owners to actually replace our income and be self-sufficient so that we can sing our soul song, whether that's just doing hobbies or every day, whatever. So with your experience and also working in the corporate world with business and training and mentoring, what was the first, the first step? So I always say that there's people out there that teach us, I'll teach you to go from $0 to $1 million. Well, you know what? That's just so far removed for that person that just wants to stay at home and work on their book, or they want to do macrame or whatever. So what advice or what experiences can you share about that first month, that first year?
So really what I tell people when they're starting to look at being an entrepreneur is to align your business with the things that make you the most joyful, and to align your business with the notes of your soul song, right? So we are a person, and I specialize in working with alternative or with wellness professionals, and particularly in that field, we are looking at making a difference in a way that people are their physical bodies and they're energetic and all of that. And so as an entrepreneur, regardless of what your business is, your business needs to nourish you as much as you're nourishing your clients, because this is not an easy path. It's an up and down, and in a day you can have multiple ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to be building a really solid foundation. You want to have done that before you start launching your business. And so I teach people and I tell people, make sure that your business is aligned with what brings you the most joy. How do you want to be spending your time? Who do you want to be spending your time with? And build your business around that. Because when we have our day, when we set ourselves up for our day and have it be filled with joy, how can we not make a difference in the world?
Yeah.
Right? It's like that just radiates out. And when that's like what people are looking for, and when we do that, we're in our zone, right? We're in like, this is what I want to be doing, which means you're going to be making a bigger impact.
Yeah.
So really just make sure that that's where your business is focused, and that your income streams and how you spend your time is focused around those things. And then also make sure that you build in time for yourself for self-care, and not go working 70, 80 hours a week without building in self-care.
That's brilliant advice. And I mean, really, it all comes back to what you've said and the book that you've written about dancing your soul song, because once you're in that space, like you said, magic just happens. It can't not happen, can it?
No, it can't.
Yeah.
I want everybody to have their day where, even though you may be having moments where you're like, oh man, what am I doing? Why did I ever agree to this, right? But then you also have those moments where you're like, yes, this feels so good and so right in everything. It's like you just get that moment where you're like, oh, yes. And that's where we want our businesses.
Yeah.
That's the guiding principle for me.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. So, Stephanie, we've covered quite a lot today. I'm just my soul's singing at the moment. I'm just going, wow, this has just been fantastic. Not only for me, but also for everybody that's going to be listening and watching the show. So, is there anything that we haven't covered that you feel the audience really needs to tap into, or a little bit of, 3-step guide, or where can they get your book from?
Yeah, I always tell people when I know this is a podcast around being a business owner, but we are people first.
Mm.
And to remember that even though when we start to wear the entrepreneur hat, we still have to balance out our life as a person. And to remember that balance is part of the key and to keep that ease in there. So, it's like one of the things I tell people a lot about is have hope, right? Don't feel like just because you might be having a day where things aren't working, just keep going, because that's the key. You have to make a decision and then commit to that decision and then keep going. And that's where I see so many people start to fail, because they are not continuing to go in their business. If you set yourself up with a business that brings you joy, then you just keep doing it. And the thing about being a business owner is that you want to be able to be flexible.
Mm.
That sometimes, you know what, I may launch a program and I get one person in it. And that doesn't tell me that I'm in the wrong business. That tells me I need to tweak things. And to just keep that perspective of, this is my business, that didn't work, how do I modify it? And to keep that curiosity and that nature of play in it, because that's where we continue to be successful. And you asked me earlier about, for the first month or the first year. And I think that is true no matter where you are in your business.
Mm.
I've been in alternative medicine, I've been in spiritual development for several decades. And I would say that I still have to sit down on a regular basis and say, what's going well? What do I need to shift? And then to keep that momentum going.
So it's always growing. So regardless of whether you're in business or you're just, wanting to lose a few kilos at the gym or go on a green smoothie diet, whatever it is, what my biggest takeaway from that, Stephanie, is the fact that we have to keep doing it, because it's not going to happen without our input and our consistency in moving towards that goal or that life or
Absolutely.
that song.
Absolutely. And it's one thing to listen to this podcast or read somebody's book or go to a workshop, and then it's an altogether really different thing to take that information and to continue to put it into action every day. And
Mm.
that's where the change really happens. That's where the transformation really happens. It's when we integrate these principles into our everyday lives, whether it's something you're learning from this podcast or a book that you read or a workshop that you went to. It's about taking action and taking action every single day towards the goal that you have set, towards the action, the outcome that you want, and to just keep going. And that's where things happen. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It's not giving up and going, well, that doesn't work. It's a matter of just keep going until it does work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, right? If we set ourselves up so that our entire life is focused on the things that we know we're supposed to be doing, then how can it not work?
Mm.
And I use this I talk about this when I do coaching, and I talk about this in a couple of my own podcasts where, if you've got somebody who, we've got people who, excuse me for one second, we have people who are professional mermaids for a living. We have people who make designer ball gowns out of balloons, right? There
Yeah.
was a recent one where we've got, again, gowns made out of like the down puffer jackets. If those people had that vision of that and they're being quite successful at it, how can we not be successful at the things that are our vision? And this is where I really, you tap into what that dream is, what that vision is, and then do it.
Awesome advice. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Stephanie, just where can they get a copy of the book? What's the name of your business?
Oh, my business is Laughing Dragon Coaching because we all need to be laughing. And my book is Soul Song Dancing, and it is available off my website, which is laughingdragoncoaching.com.
And you've also got a Facebook page and an Instagram page?
I do Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all of those things, as well as LinkedIn, and everything is Laughing Dragon Coaching. It's that consistency and that brand consistency that we always want to be teaching people
Yeah.
and having out there in life. So I'm Laughing Dragon Coaching.
Awesome. So we can Google Laughing Dragon Coaching and we'll find Stephanie.
Absolutely. And my book is Soul Song Dancing, and it walks you through identifying what those notes of your soul song are. It's a hands-on workbook, and it tells part of my story as well. But it's really meant to get you so that you know what the notes of your soul song are, and you write a personal mission statement out of that, and then you have that foundation so that you can start designing your life.
Brilliant. And it's obviously a book for anyone at any age.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. I know it's evening where you are, or afternoon. It's morning where I am. So I
Yeah.
appreciate the time that you've given us and share your expertise, share your journey in business, and share your business. So thank you so much, Stephanie.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. This is a great podcast, and I love what you're doing. So thank you for doing it.
My pleasure. So we'll see you soon. Thanks for coming today.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.